Hi everyone, we're here today with the handsomest guy to come out of the dirty jersey, Darek Wajda. It's great seeing you again, bro. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Hey, Christian. Thanks for having me today on the podcast. I'm excited to be here and chat.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear your story and let everyone know about the success you're having and get everyone involved in it.
There we
So,
go. I mean, not too much success yet, but we'll get in there.
aye, big things are coming. So you grew up in Ridgefield, New Jersey. Tell us about life there, living across the river from the Big Apple.
Yeah, so Richfield's a nice little small town right across the river from New York City. It's a fun little area because you have a combination of the suburbs. You're an hour from the beach. You're 15 minutes from the biggest city in the world. So you have a fun little variety of things to do. The best thing about living in that area is just it's a super big melting pot. So a lot of different cultures and people. So end of the day, when I was looking at colleges, it just made sense for Northeastern, given the diversity in Boston and all those institutions there. But it's a really great experience to sit back and relax and enjoy, the beaches, the suburbs, the woods over here. So it's a really great area to live in.
Yeah, so obviously we'll get to that point with Northeastern, like, and how you chose there. But
Mhm.
starting off, obviously your dad had a keen interest in soccer. What impact did he have on you growing up and loving the game?
Yeah, so my father's actually from Poland, so he's been playing since he was a little kid when he grew up over there. And his impact on soccer for me is, unimaginable. When I was a little kid, first thing he did was put a ball in my crib and told my mother, look, he's going to be a soccer player, and that's his only option. So I really didn't have a choice. But growing up, it was tough, because it was always really his dream, and it was something that he wanted me to really do and do well. And it was always, that father-son complex where I was trying to perform the best I could for him and really make him proud. And it actually evolved as I got older, and I started to realize that it's more than just, a game that I play for him. It's also something that I do for fun with my friends. It was a
Yeah,
mental break, stress break. It was most importantly an international language, being able to travel around the world for soccer and different teams and in college and all that. It was just a way that even if you didn't speak the same language as the locals, the ball did talking. So it was always something fun that made you make friends, and it was always a great thing to play.
yeah, and unfortunately you've been supporting AC Milan all this time, so he actually went across there as well, right?
Yeah, so my senior year of high school, I went to Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. I got invited for a semi-trial at AC Milan's Primavera team, which is their secondary pro team. I was over there, played for a few weeks. I got an invite to stay till I was 21, but most importantly, growing up in this area in the U.S., it was really important for me to go to school first. So it was a tough decision, but, I had that father-son moment where it's like, hey, I finally did it. I'm here. What do you think? And we both agreed that, school was the better option, and that, soccer was more of his dream. And I was just happy to get there and play with some of those players and be on the field next to some of the greats, like, Pirlo was there, Inzaghi, Zlatan, so it was incredible being there.
Yeah, so obviously you mentioned there about playing for Bergen Catholic. You also played for FC Westchester as well. How did you enjoy your time at both of these places?
Yeah, so actually growing up in Jersey, basically, I think when I hit my teenage years, they introduced the Academy League in the U.S. and actually started playing off of Red Bull first. I was at Red Bull for a few years, had a really good program, really great teammates, and then they went through a little bit of a kind of reconstruction where they got rid of some of the coaches, and I ended up going to FC Westchester up in Westchester, New York, at Sonny Purchase College. And it was fun. It was definitely the great thing about the Academy League versus high school is that the level of play was much higher. So it's a little bit challenging to navigate the high school versus club level because a lot of the college coaches, the scouts, a lot of those big games where they came to actually watch you was during your academy league, your club league. So high school soccer is a little bit different. High school was fun. It was definitely enjoyable. I had a great program at Bergen Catholic. I had some really good coaches, some great players, big role models. But ultimately, the level of play for the academy league was just much higher. And it was definitely much more important to do well, during those times for college coaches to see you there. And that's ultimately how I ended up, finding the right place for college.
Yeah, were there any guys that you played with at both the teams who have went on to do something in soccer or went on to play college soccer as well?
Yeah, so originally from the Red Bull group, I was with Adam the Gem. He ended up going and playing for Red Bull's first team, and he went to Philly Union. And then Matt Miazga was with me too over there. We played growing up together, and now he's with Chelsea on loan at Reading. So he's been doing really well. Aside from that, some of the Rebel guys, the older team, we had Johnny Agudelo was a year above us. Who else was above us? A few other guys that ended up playing with Rebels first team, and then they kind of hopped around as well. And then from FC Westchester, the only one was a year above us, and it was I can't remember his name, Tommy McNamara, and he ended up going to NYFC, and he's been playing really well over there the last few seasons. So, some good players. In terms of high school, I don't think any of the guys I went to high school with ended up going any of the pro leagues, but everyone went to college, whether it was a D3 program or a D1 program. A lot of the guys ended up playing full time, so that was always fun to see and have that leadership in front of me.
Yeah, so how do you think these experiences playing with these sort of players help prepare you for the life of college soccer?
Well, that's funny you say that. So the club level was super different. Like I said, it was a lot more competitive in terms of technique and finesse and skill. And then the high school level was a lot of big guys, 6 foot plus athletes, 200 pounds, all muscle. So, getting ready for college was definitely a little bit easier when it came to playing high school soccer, because you were either a freshman or a sophomore, all these big seniors bullying you and pushing you around the field. And, getting ready for college was important because, obviously going in, I was a little bit smaller. I was like, 5'9", probably like 155, 160. So definitely had to put on some size and weight, but, playing with those
you're
bigger
still
guys,
small anyway.
Yeah, didn't get much bigger, just the belly a little bit. That's about
it. Just that Jersey Beach bod, that's what you're after.
That's it, baby.
So you ended up at Northeastern. What other schools were you looking at?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to go to school in Boston. That was like top of my list. So I ended up looking at Northeastern, Boston College, BU, in the Boston area. And then outside of Boston, I looked at UConn, Penn State. I was looking at Rutgers and Notre Dame, and the last three were between Rutgers, Northeastern, and Notre Dame. And just Northeastern felt like the perfect fit. It was something that I really liked. I wanted to be in school in Boston. I loved having a city campus in the suburbs, so it made sense. Met the coach. He was great when I got over there, and there was a lot of good players in the team, and I knew 2 guys from growing up in high school and club level. So it was fun going in with some friends and then being in a great city.
Yeah, so you mentioned there about the city playing in like a big part in your decision. What other factors played a role in your decision to go to Northeastern?
Well, ultimately, Northeastern was top of my list, and the ultimate reason I said yes was just the education there. It was important for me to be able to, get some work experience in through our co-op program. I thought that was a really important program that you get to graduate with anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half of full-time work experience. That was super important to me, the ability to be with a lot of diverse students, great majors there. Like I said, just a great location. Being in Boston, it was really nice. It's the perfect middle of being able to enjoy college, get out, have fun, but then also when you got to sit down and study, you don't have too many distractions where you can, keep focusing on your schoolwork. And, it was always just a bus ride away from back home, so it wasn't too far away. It was like the perfect distance where, you weren't too worried about your parents showing up on your doorstep one day and you weren't ready for them,
And you worried about that every weekend.
Yeah, especially when I live with you.
So obviously you came in your freshman year, you didn't play at all that freshman year. How did that make you feel after playing like all those years before?
Yeah, well, that was really rough on me. Ultimately it was the coach's decision, and they decided that they wanted me to redshirt my first year. Because, I did tell them I want to be at Northeastern for the 5-year program, so I did want to do all the work cycles. So the decision was an influence of both the coaches, my size, and a little bit of the fact that I wanted to be there for an extra year. So they wanted me to be able to train for all 5 years, which made sense. I think it really set me back a lot, being that I was so competitive for so many years, playing at a high level and playing games every week, and then going in and, feeling like I was at my highest level and then not being able to play a game for a whole year. Really impacted my game a lot and definitely impacted my confidence.
Yeah.
I think that redshirting is really tough unless you're really injured or there's another reason. I think that redshirting for, the simple reason of being at school a year longer really hurts your confidence, and it kind of plays with your mental game a little bit.
Yeah, talk us through the things that run through your head during that year as well. Obviously, you see all the guys out in the field like playing every week, and you're not getting that chance.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, you feel that there's nothing you can do to help the team in situations when your guys are, in games. And, if you're down a goal and you're in a big game or there's a few minutes left, you're sitting there and your hands are tied. It's like being in jail while you're on the field. It's a really tough thing to do. And I wouldn't recommend it really for anybody. I think that anyone coming in now, if I could redo it, I would have wanted to play. I think that going into college, when you're coming out of a high level from high school, you should ultimately be always playing. I think sitting for a year, like I said, doesn't help anybody unless there's a medical issue or an injury. But it sucks. It's like having handcuffs when the rest of your teammates are fighting and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, so that's in that second year, you obviously managed to appear in 8 games that year. Do you think you should have played more after sitting out that full first year, working your arse off?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like I said, the coach's decisions were, decisions that they were, and I think that coming into, my second year, my third year, I think that I was not given the ability to play as much as I should have. I wish I had some more opportunities in different types of games, different types of players to play against, different situations. I feel that there was a quick decision at Northeastern with the coaching staff where certain players, coming in, it was right away. It's like, you have one bad experience or you make a mistake and you kind of get written off and put on the side right away, where I feel that growing up, you always had a lot more opportunities. There was a lot more camaraderie. You were able to, make up for yourself the next game. There was always more chances instead of just, all right, you didn't play good today, you're not going to play now the rest of the season. It's kind of how I felt.
Mm-hmm. So obviously your confidence had been affected after that being redshirted that freshman year as well. So like adding to that, where were you mentally and obviously physically at that point? Because it's hard to keep going when you know you're not getting any rewards at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, mentally, it was, like I said, it was a struggle, because every day you're out there and you're working as hard as everybody else, and you know that there's no end result. There's nothing you can do to change the fact that you're not going to be able to play the whole year. So coming into your second year, after now, it's like, okay, I redshirted the first year. I can't wait to play. I worked so hard last season. I couldn't play. So you're coming into year two, and all you're looking forward to is just that opportunity, getting out there. But, I think that sitting that first year really played with, my ability to perform at a higher level. So coming back in my second year, although I was fit, physically, and I was ready to run and play, and I had all that, I think that mentally, I needed a little bit of leeway. It's almost like you're starting off on crutches and you got to learn how to run again.
Mm-hmm. So after that, you ended up leaving the team. What were your main reasons for going?
Yeah, so ultimately, my reasons, and we've discussed this plenty of times. But to keep things frank, I feel that my position in the team had evolved from when I first got recruited there, and I felt that my relationship with the coaching staff really deteriorated. So it was ultimately a decision where I knew I was at a great program, at a really good school, and most importantly, it was a great educational experience. And my priority at Northeastern was always to, play the best that I could and ultimately get the best education. And once, playing got in the way of the education, I felt that it was important to pursue, the major I wanted, being able to go abroad, learning what Northeastern had to offer in different countries, in different languages, with different people. So, ultimately decided to step away from the team and, do it the best way I could to pursue education.
Yeah, and that's you have to be selfish, especially when it comes to sports. Like it might not be the best decision for you at that time, and you might not feel it, but down the line, education's the most important thing.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it was tough. The first, I think I was living with you at the time. The first few weeks, it was you're still packing up your soccer bag and you're getting ready for training, only to realize you're not going anymore.
Yeah.
So it is tough. When you play your whole life. I started playing when I was like 6, 7. I was about 20 at the time. So it was definitely challenging playing for so many years. And then all of a sudden it's like, yep, this is no longer part of your life.
Yeah, and you just have to kind of change it. You're like, all right, what did I do all this time now that I've spent like playing the game that I love?
Exactly. You have to learn your new identity. I was always Darek, the soccer guy, and then all of a sudden there's no more soccer. So it's like, who are you now? And I think that's what a lot of players, they struggle with when they're playing competitive sports and then they stop playing for whatever reason. It's learning, where you belong and your identity and then looking for that and searching for it.
Yeah, and see what you can channel your energy into, like moving forward to progress yourself. So you obviously played with some great players in that team. Who were the guys who impressed you the most?
Ooh, that's a good question. Wow. So, like I said, I did get to play with some great players there. I'd say by far, Dante Marini, he was just an incredible, just everything. I know probably the smallest guy I've ever played with, but he worked like the biggest guy on the team. He had the biggest heart. true leader, I mean, incredible skill. I mean, I learned so much from him. Between him, Nico Lara, who I grew up with, I played for his dad growing up. Nico was just one of the most technical players I knew. Donovan from South Africa, I thought that he was great. Obviously, I have a lot of love for you and the way you play your game. And I wish that you didn't have to struggle with the injuries that you had, because you would have really been a lot more incredible than you were, especially you, Terrence, a lot of great players. Simon was great, playing at center back. Ambry, fantastic athlete, really great player. Just a lot of good guys and a lot of leaders on the team. I think that, we had a really, really good group of mixture of people local from the U.S. and people from overseas. And I found that everyone meshed really well. People picked up on other people's, abilities to do things really well. And then where someone couldn't do something well, someone else in the position next to them really, filled that void. So I think it was, like I said, a lot of great players and a lot of good leaders. And, I'm really grateful to have played with those guys.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, it's guys from all over the world and a lot of different cultures molded into one where some teams wouldn't have got on, but we got on the majority of times. And like we had a few run-ins every so often, but everyone was on the whole kind of there for each
absolutely.
other and like always up for a laugh as well. That was a good thing. What kind of things did you got up to like with the team? Like was there a joker in the team, like kind of stuff that they'd done?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about playing college soccer is that, you have so many different types of people and people that are very different in age, coming in freshman year at 17, 18, and then you got seniors that are doing their 5th year at, 24 years old or 23 years old, sometimes, 22-ish, you have a huge age gap. So definitely the jokes, they vary. You have guys that are ready to get married, guys that are engaged, and you get guys that, they can't even put one foot in the other yet. We definitely had some characters in the team, coming in, got a lot of love for Hamadi. He really showed me Northeastern. He showed me around when I came there on my recruiting trip. Connor Alexander, I went to high school with. It was really fun, having the different personalities and seeing everybody on the team. And, love Nick Gu, from Hawaii. He always had his stuff. It was definitely something that I enjoyed. And, the jokes were, whether they are training or afterwards. But we always got into fun things after training, when we had some downtime, whether it was little get-togethers at, people's houses or went out to eat or hanging out in the cafeterias. It was always a good group of guys and always fun to hang around.
Yeah, I was just going to get onto that there. Like, obviously living in Boston with all your friends must have been fun. Like, what kind of stuff did you get up to? Obviously, I know a lot of it because you were never away from me. And then nights out in the city, like parties, like that kind of stuff. What are your most memorable moments?
Ooh, most memorable moments. Man, I think that a few of our experiences were great. Being able to go up to Parker Hill and, finagling our way into getting the drinks that we wanted and, trying not to get in trouble when we went out, hop around the bars and go into the clubs,
You taking me to Bijou?
Yeah, Bijou and venue. I was like a club rat. But, ultimately it was fun, hanging out with the guys. And, you learn that even though you're really close in the field, everyone kind of parts their own ways a little bit. When they get home, there's certain people who enjoy different activities. I had my things that I like to do, and I was always with, Jorge Acosta, and we did our thing, and then me being with you and Sam Marley and Dan, so we had a fun team of guys to go out with. But besides that, even like the small things we did, whether it was showing the new recruits or the new freshmen for a day or the new transfers around Boston, going to the Commons, walking them around, showing them the stores and just showing, new people what Boston had to offer was always so fun because a lot of these people came there without really any expectations. And then they were like, wow, there's so much to do here. This is an incredible city, incredible place. So that was always really enjoyable. On my end, I loved touring everybody around Boston.
Yeah, you're just a social butterfly.
Yeah, me and you both.
I can make friends with a brick wall.
Absolutely, but I don't know if the brick wall will understand you, my friend.
So what would you say your honest experience was like of college soccer in Northeastern?
My experience is I'm indifferent about it. You know what really went down and, how things were for me. I was one of the few guys that left the team in the fashion that I did. Looking back on it, I definitely was a lot more, upset then and emotional and hot-headed. And now I really appreciate the experience because it really helped me evolve into what I'm doing now. And ultimately, I'm really grateful. I'm forever grateful to the team and the coaching staff for giving me the opportunity to join that type of institution and be able to learn and do what I did, because Northeastern and the people around me and the experiences there allowed me to achieve what I'm achieving now. So, ultimately great experience, good guys, great school, and even better, outcome than I could have asked for.
Yeah, so you've graduated from Northeastern now. How important would you say education has played in your life?
That's funny. I was just actually talking to somebody about this recently. Education to me it's like an anomaly over here in the U.S. You have to go because you have to go, even though you can afford it, but then you got to afford it, even though you don't want to afford it, to only get a job that doesn't pay your loans afterwards. So it's a weird little game you play over here, But what I realized with Northeastern and going there is that between the education with the professors and the experiences you gain with the other students, and ultimately, everything that you kind of do while you're at these schools, these great programs that the country has to offer, I think that the overall experience is what really helps you evolve most as a person. For example, like a lot of the guys that I hung out with that were outside the team and from other countries, those became my closest friends, and we had the same mentality. We love to travel, like learn new languages, see the world, go to different places, and pretty much all of us have, done something similar now. Everyone kind of worked a bit, and we all kind of navigated into our own space, whether it was having our own business, working for ourselves, trying to start something new. And I think that's the most important lesson that Northeastern teaches you, is that because of our diversity, because of the programs there, because of the school's like willingness to allow you to, choose the path that you want and the way that you want, and how you get to learn those classes with those professors, I think it really gives you the ability to, be the best employee or entrepreneur or business owner. There's so many options, and I think that group of people there really allows that to happen.
Yeah, that's it. Especially like being able to travel across the world. That's a big thing. Like a lot of people aren't open to experiencing new cultures, but you were, and I think that's a lot to do with your background as well.
Yeah, I mean, I told you how my father got me playing when I was real young. He used to ship me away starting when I was 11. I lived in Brazil that summer for a few months. I was with the host family. So from 11 to pretty much when I went to Northeastern, every summer I lived in a different country with the host family or with friends or with some soccer program, whether it was Brazil or Poland or Spain, Slovakia, England. It was always somewhere, So going to Northeastern, end of the day, made sense. It was almost like an accidental perfect match,
Yeah. So you talk about like going to experience the different countries there. You actually worked for NBC, which took you over to France. Tell us about
Yep.
your time there. That must have been a great experience. Obviously, a big change from the US.
Yeah, it's huge change. I mean, ultimately, I got that position through Northeastern, and I was able to do 2 really great co-ops with Northeastern. First one with CNBC in the breaking news section in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, and then the second co-op with MSNBC in Rockefeller Center in New York. And in between those, I got to do some more gigs with NBC locally in Boston, and then also over here in New York. But Northeastern gave me the ability to have that work experience. So when I graduated, I had this great resume of 4 different NBC jobs with almost 2 years of experience coming out of college. So I started working with NBC in Rockefeller Center with MSNBC's weekend show. I was producing breaking news. So that was really, really fun. It was fun and also stressful and crazy. I think that being an athlete really prepares you for that, because you have a team of 20 plus people who put together a news show. So having that team background and experience and leadership really allows you to excel in that kind of environment. And then after my first year there with NBC in New York, NBC invested in Euronews in Lyon, France, and it was a merger project. They wanted to create a new social media kind of tech show with European headlines, really BuzzFeed-like. And the positions came up. I had an opportunity to apply. I applied. I ended up getting the job, and I moved into France, and it was incredible. And the main reason why was that France won the World Cup while I was there, so that was really something special. But it's an incredible experience moving overseas. It better than anybody else. It's tough. We don't know the language, but me. I love that. I love traveling. I'm like a gypsy, so
Yeah,
it was
I
really
definitely
fun.
didn't know the language.
Even for you still speak the same language here, but it was tough for you to transition too. It's really it's really just special when you get to do that, and then you start succeeding because you learn a lot about yourself and your abilities, you know?
Yeah, and you have to be open as well to experience that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
obviously now you started your own CBD business, the Green Room New Jersey. How did
Yep.
that all come about?
So that's a long story. We need a whole nother episode for that, but I'll give you the
We've
give you the
got
short
plenty
and
of time
sweet.
here. Let's go.
So the short and sweet, you know, way I describe it is, you know, like I said, I did move to France. I was with NBC Euro News out there. You know, I had a really good experience. Unfortunately, when I got there, after a few months, the French Commission ended up cutting the budget for the investment that NBC brought in. So kind of the program changed a little bit. And what happened was that a lot of our jobs changed. So I had a decision to make. I was on a provisional contract that I had the ability to sign full time after, you know, 4 months. And I decided that, hey, you know, I'm going to hang out here for 6, you know, do the best I can. And then I'm going to, you know, tuck my head in. I'm going to head back home and try something new. And really what it came down to was, you know, I was 22 or 23 at the time. And I just felt that I was doing really well and I wanted a challenge. I wanted to try something new for myself. And I had no idea what it was. So I moved back home and I started coaching the U9 boys for the PSG Academy at the French school in Lycée in New York City, which was really fun using my background in soccer to coach. And then I started working as a bar back in a bar on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And after my first shift, I was walking back to my car miserable, like 4:30 in the morning, you know, getting paid almost nothing. And I was like, why did I leave France? But, you know, walking back to my car and I just happened to pick my head up and I walked by one of the first CBD stores in Lower Manhattan. And, you know, I saw what they were selling through the window and I couldn't believe that that was now available in New York City. And originally I thought it was pot and I thought it was, you know, like marijuana. And I was like, wait, did I miss the legalization of pot while I was in France? I was like, that's not possible. So I was so confused and I was confused. I was excited. I was scared. I was like, what is this? You know? So I remember the next day I popped in. I asked for a job over there and, you know, it was a really good team and I met them and we started working together. They were about a month in. We ended up opening up 4 more stores together. You know, working for them, I was their director. We ended up doing a really good job, bringing a lot of good people CBD and helping them out. And then ultimately I had the experience to start my own project in New Jersey. And, you know, me and the guy I had worked for at the time agreed on doing something together. We started like that and then we decided to separate, go our own ways. He wanted to focus on what he was doing. I wanted to focus on, you know, my new project. And I ended up rebranding the store to the Green Room, which was a name from a friend that I knew in the area. You know, I was sitting with her and we were chatting about it and she actually gave me the name and rebranded. And, you know, the rest is history, man. I'm just trying to, you know, really bring good products to New Jersey and good CBD and really educate the community on cannabis as a whole species, how it works in the body, you know, what it is. And ultimately, like I said, you know,
Now on 3 locations. Talk to us about the growth of your stores and the benefits of CBD.
yeah, so the growth of the stores is crazy, man. You know, CBD is just, it's an insane market right now. There's just so much going on. There's new companies popping up every day. And I'm really lucky that I put my first location in Hoboken, New Jersey. You know, I got really, really lucky with the space. I have a great landlord there. I'm on a really good block. You know, I got pizza, tacos, cookies, CVS, Starbucks, a bagel shop. So it's just everything that anybody who enjoys cannabis wants to see when they're walking around, you know. So it's really a special area. And, you know, the Hoboken location has been able to fund 2 new stores for me. And I wouldn't be able to do that with the help of my parents. You know, they originally gave me the loan to open the first store. My dad's been helping me build them out. He's a contractor. So we've been really working together as a whole group. And I opened up Hoboken in June of last year, rebranded in September, and then I ended up opening my second green room in March of this year in Montclair, New Jersey. And I just opened up my 3rd location in Red Bank, New Jersey about 2 weeks ago. You know, so mid-August, and it's been fun, man. You know, 3 locations in about a year since I rebranded, and, you know, I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. Just want to keep going as, you know, as best as I can and as fast as I can.
Yeah, and tell people about the benefits of CBD and what it kind of offers, because a lot of people won't really know about it as much.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge thing I talk about every day, and I always wish that I had some of the products that I have right now, you know, while I played soccer growing up, especially like the topical products for pain relief. But really what CBD is it's nature's natural anti-inflammatory. So the easiest way to describe it is this Tylenol in natural form, and it's available in smokable versions, edibles, drinks, topicals. You know, you can use it with your pets who have anxiety and stress. You can use it on yourself, you know, if you have those symptoms too. But ultimately, the main requests in the store are people who have sleep issues, people who suffer from pain, and then anxiety and stress. So really what CBD does in the system is it reduces any inflammation, which is going to help you now with pain relief. It's going to help you with sleep. It's going to help you with anxiety and stress. And because it's available in so many forms, whether it's, you know, candies or chocolate bars or caramels or drinks or proteins or coffees, you're able to put CBD really in anything. So it's helping you balance out your diet, and it basically restores your body to homeostasis to keep you at, you know, your ground zero where you're feeling best, you know, throughout the whole day. And like I said, you know, it's been something that I wish I could have used longer. You know, my dad uses it, whether it's, you know, when he can't sleep at night after playing soccer late, you know, using it on injuries because he's still playing. You know, my sister loves the tea when she's like studying to help her focus more. You know, it's just really something that is an incredible plant, and it has a lot of great benefits. Just really has to be made the right way and served in the right way, you know?
Yeah, because a lot of people think, oh, it's CBD, that's just weed, like blah blah blah. But it's not. Like there's a lot more to it, and it's a different kind of. It offers you a different, what can I say?
Yeah, cannabinoid
Benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, ultimately that's like our biggest challenge is educating people on the differences between CBD and THC. So really we spend all day doing that. We're a little bit different than most like CBD retail stores, and the main reason is that, you know, I have my buddy Sebastian's art hanging up in there. It goes by Art by Bash. He's got incredible artwork. All three locations have his paintings. I have a total of, let's see, 6, 7, 8. I have about 15 of his paintings hanging up, all custom pieces, all for sale. You know, we work together really well, and we also educate a lot of people in the store. So we're not just selling product. We're really your source all in one for your cannabis questions. So if you're buying things on the black market and you're unsure whether or not they're fake, you know, we're going to help you navigate that space and look at those products for you and give you updates on, you know, if you should be using them, you know, why you shouldn't be using them. You know, we steer people in the direction of, you know, going to medical dispensaries for certain types of ailments. You know, so it's a lot bigger than just a retail store. You know, we're overall general cannabis knowledge, and we're a big part of the community when it comes to helping and doing and making a change, you know.
Yeah, and you get a lot of good content as well. Like obviously on your Instagram, like if people check that out at the Green Room, New Jersey,
Yep.
and hopefully like they'll be able to see like the benefits that people are getting from it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, just like I said, there's the short list of what people normally come in for, but we have customers with MS, with lupus, with Crohn's, with epilepsy. I mean, the list goes on, and people come in, whether it's themselves, their kids, their pets, you know, they get results immediately, and people come in crying. You know, it's really been a blessing. You know, that's the main reason why I want to be a reporter, was to help the little person, and that kind of changed in the global spectrum of news. So doing what I'm doing now, I get to help people again, one-on-one at a much, you know, bigger scale. Cause now, you know, since I opened the store, I think we just broke 10,000 sales, you know, so that's 10,000, you know, different opportunities we've had to really help somebody out. And it's really
Yeah.
important to me, and it's been a blessing.
So thanks for taking the time, mate. It's been great hearing your journey so far and the exciting things you're up to now. But before we go, what's some advice you could offer out there to future and even current student athletes still competing or that are thinking about committing to a college to play sports?
Yeah, you know me. I'm always one to, you know, I keep my advice normally to myself, and I only help people when they're really asked or they want an opinion. But if I had to say anything that I've learned in the last few years, it's that everyone gets their opportunity. It's just a matter of recognizing it and grabbing it, you know, when it's asking for you to grab on. You know, it's something that I always talk about. And if you listen to a lot of other, you know, companies and their growth and their success and what they've done, and the people who started them, they all kind of say the same thing. It's just a matter of recognizing your opportunity. And if that opportunity means a new job, leaving a position, moving across the world, you know, moving to a different city, whatever it may be, you know, it's never going to make a negative impact if you don't try. You know, that's what I've learned. It's something that you have to always try. What's inevitable, what you may be most scared of, could turn into your biggest success, you know. So that's my biggest advice is, you know, jump on that opportunity when you see something, when you feel it, when you recognize it, you know, do it. You know, if you have that opportunity, because we're young and we only have so many chances, and if you miss them, then you might not get another one.
Yeah, I think that you've made a great point there. Like, it's important to take that chance. Like, who cares if you fail? At least you're trying to attempt to make a change and make a difference in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's what I learned between, you know, leaving the team and going overseas and studying over there, and you know, having the opportunity with NBC in France. You know, I picked it my whole life and I left, and then only to come back 6 months later, you know, and explain to everybody why my dream job didn't work out. You know,
Yeah.
and here we are. I've had my ups and my downs, but ultimately leading to this point, it's just about, you know, taking a chance on yourself and believing in your abilities, and, you know, grabbing those opportunities when they pop up.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks again, mate.
Of course, Christian, thanks for having me. And, you know, can't wait to hear the rest of this. And I'm proud of you, my friend. All love. And, you know, I'm happy that we got to meet in college, and I'm happy you're doing well.
Cheers, bro.